My people, the matter on ground requires I should remove my cap. Hold on. President Tinubu stood before Nigerians and said, the economy is stabilized. We are no longer borrowing from local banks and hope is here. But while Nigerians are clapping, something else is happening behind the scene. In July this year, the Senate quietly approved over $21 billion in new foreign loan. So here's the truth. Tinubu didn't stop borrowing. He simply shifted the debt burden from Nigerian banks to international lender. And you, the ordinary Nigerian, are still paying the price and will still pay more. Let's break it down. A domestic borrowing is like borrowing from your neighbor. You borrow in Naira within your street, but it raises interest rates. So businesses and individuals suffer. And an external borrowing is like borrowing from a money lender outside your village. They don't care about your suffering. They will only demand payment in dollars. Nigerian total debt in the first quarter of 2025 is 149.39 trillion. So if I break it down, domestic debt is 78.76 trillion naira, about 53% of the debt. External, 70.63 trillion, approximately 47%. So Nigeria hasn't stopped borrowing. We are just asking foreigner instead of our local banks. He said something, the president, and everyone applauded him. What about you? If you heard it, will you do the same? Watch this video.
The economy is stabilized. Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing, it's dying from local bank. And that is hope is here. It's here. Thank you for believing in me.
Yes, non-oil revenue surge can help the government's cash flow. But in July 2025, the Senate approved Tinubu's $21 billion external borrowing plan. Here's the breakdown for our borrowing packages. £4 billion, about $4.7 billion. Number two, 15 billion yands, about $102 million. Number three, $65 million in grants. Number four, $2 billion dominated domestic borrowing. 2 billion. And finally, 3 billion for Eastern Rail project. So, why Tinubu was telling Nigerians we didn't borrow locally? The paperwork for $21 billion in new loan was already signed silently. What about our international debt burden? Have you considered that too? Let me show you. In April 2025, Nigeria finally repaid the $3.4 billion IMF COVID-19 loan. But instead of breathing easy, we are back in the cycle with new international loans. External debt now stands at about 70 trillion naira and growing. It's like paying off one credit card and only to reopen about 3 new ones. Statistics shows that the debt to GDP ratio is rising. Our debt service to revenue ratio is already at about 70%. In Buhari's era, and our president says something about that. Hear him speak.
What we believe, a progressive government that we always build on the legacies of Muhammadu Buhari. And what I can promise you is what I'm doing.
That is, under Buhari, public debt rose from 12 trillion naira in 2015 to 77 trillion naira by 2023. Poverty deepens, and even over 133 million Nigerians are classified as multidimensionally poor. So, if Tinubu is celebrating Buhari's legacy, it means he's also celebrating the hardship Nigerians are still facing today. Some of you may say that is not how microeconomic works. So, how do we connect it to the daily hardship on the people or the common man. The exchange rate may look stabilized on paper, 1,900 to 1,350, but the cost of food, rent, transportation keeps rising. Farmers are promised mechanization center, but the market didn't speak the same. Gari, yam, and price of rice are still all-time high. Students are promised education funding, but schools keep rising their fees. Just let's pretend we are motivated by his speech for a moment, and with a claim of this performance. When will this promise be implemented? Next 2 years? 4 years time? Second tenure? Or is it planning to be there for life? Are we going to chop motivational speech? So far, if it is about building on Buhari's legacy and is bragging about it, let's anticipate more foreign loans and more hardship. I understand the best gift you can give to a man is hope. Yes, Tinubu talk about hope, but Nigerians are asking, hope for who? Because the loans will be repaid by us through high taxes, fuel prices, and even inflation. They've even added another one, fuel taxation. This made many Nigerians asking if Nigeria is a country or a company. As for me, I don't know which is which. So when you hear we are no longer borrowing from local banks, don't be deceived. Nigeria is still drowning in debt. Only this time it owes to foreign lenders who will demand repayment in dollars. And when Tinubu praises Buhari's legacy, remember that legacy is debt, poverty, and suffering. My people, if you believe Nigerians deserve a real accountability, not motivational speeches, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe, because the more we expose the truth, the harder it becomes for these politicians to hide behind empty promises. Social media watchdog, Branchild is my name. See you in the next video.